Imagine having more money than you could ever spend, enough to buy islands, jets, and mansions across the world, yet choosing to live in a quiet, ordinary house in an ordinary neighborhood by choice, not because you have to. Now imagine someone else, earning far less, living in a luxury home they can barely afford, driving a car financed by stress, surrounded by objects that look impressive, but quietly drain their future. On social media, the second life looks richer, louder, shinier, more successful. But in reality, one of these people is free and the other is trapped, even though it looks the opposite. This is the first illusion money creates, the belief that wealth is something you show, not something you build, that looking rich is the same as being rich, when in fact, they often cancel each other out. We are taught, from movies, ads, and endless scrolling, that success means upgrading everything, the house, the car, the clothes, the vacations, as fast as income allows. But what if every upgrade quietly takes something from you? Not just money, but time, focus, freedom, and peace of mind, things far harder to earn back. What if the most powerful people in the world understand something most of us never question, that consumption feels like progress, but often moves you backward? And what if the real secret to wealth is not earning more, but refusing to spend more, even when you can? This story is not about being cheap or living small. It is about understanding how money actually works, how it grows, how it compounds, and how easily it disappears when treated carelessly. Today, we are dismantling the upgrade illusion, the silent force that keeps people busy consuming while believing they are moving forward. And once you see it clearly, you can never unsee it. There is a silent difference between looking rich and being wealthy, and most people never learn to tell them apart, because one is loud, visible, and celebrated, while the other is quiet, invisible, and rarely admired. Looking rich is about what people see: the car, the watch, the house, the vacations, the lifestyle displayed for the world to notice and approve. Being wealthy is about what people do not see: the assets quietly growing, the debts avoided, the freedom to say no, and the ability to walk away. The tragedy is that our culture rewards the appearance of success far more than the reality of it, so people learn to spend first and think later. When income increases, spending often follows immediately, not because needs increase, but because identity shifts. People feel pressure to look like their new income level. This is how lifestyle inflation begins, slowly, subtly, and almost invisibly. Each upgrade feels justified, each purchase feels earned, until the gap between income and expenses quietly disappears. Once that gap is gone, freedom goes with it. High income without savings creates fragility, not strength, because every bill now depends on tomorrow's paycheck. This is why two people with the same income can live completely different financial lives. One builds margin, the other builds obligations. Wealth is not created by how much you earn, but by how much you keep and how long you keep it working for you. Until this distinction becomes clear, most people will keep chasing a lifestyle that feels successful today, but quietly steals from their future. The upgrade trap begins the moment earning more money feels like permission to spend more money, not because life truly needs it, but because it feels deserved. A better apartment, a newer car, a nicer watch, a more expensive vacation, each upgrade feels small on its own, but together they quietly reshape your financial destiny. The danger is that upgrades rarely arrive all at once. They arrive one by one, slowly normalizing a higher cost of living. What once felt like a luxury soon feels like a necessity, and once something becomes a necessity, letting it go feels like failure. This is why many people feel richer than ever, yet more anxious than ever, because their lifestyle has grown faster than their sense of security. The upgrade trap does not announce itself. It feels like progress, celebration, even self-respect, but behind the scenes, it quietly increases pressure. More expensive choices demand more future income, more responsibility, and more tolerance for stress. Eventually, upgrades stop feeling exciting and start feeling heavy, because now you are no longer buying things, you are maintaining them. The trap is complete when income serves lifestyle instead of lifestyle serving life. Escaping this trap begins with awareness, because once you see how upgrades really work, they lose their power over you. Most people are taught to see money as something to spend, a token meant to be exchanged for comfort, pleasure, and status. But those who build real wealth see money differently, not as entertainment, but as a tool with purpose. To a spender, money disappears the moment it is used. To an investor, money begins working the moment it is allocated. Every dollar carries a choice: consume it now for temporary satisfaction, or deploy it for future growth. When money is treated like a toy, it creates moments. When it is treated like a tool, it creates systems. This shift in perspective is subtle but powerful, because it changes how every financial decision feels. Spending becomes intentional, not emotional, and saving stops feeling like sacrifice and starts feeling like strategy. Over time, this mindset compounds just like money itself. Small disciplined choices create disproportionate results. Wealth is not built through dramatic wins, but through boring consistency applied over long periods. Once money becomes a tool, not a toy, you stop asking what it can buy today and start asking what it can build tomorrow. When people think about the cost of something, they usually think about the price tag, but that is only the smallest part of the cost. The real cost of consumption is not what leaves your bank account today, but what never has the chance to grow tomorrow. Every dollar spent is a dollar that can no longer compound, no longer multiply, no longer work on your behalf. This is why wealthy thinkers see spending differently. They do not see a purchase as an object, they see it as lost potential. A small monthly expense feels harmless, but over time, those small amounts stack, year after year, quietly shaping your future. Money grows through time and consistency, and consumption interrupts both. What makes this especially dangerous is that the pain of spending is immediate, while the damage is delayed and invisible. By the time the consequences appear, the habit is already deeply rooted. This is how people wake up decades later with good incomes, but limited options. Understanding the real cost of consumption is the moment spending stops feeling harmless and starts feeling intentional. Compounding is the quiet force that separates those who build wealth from those who only earn income. It works slowly at first, almost invisibly, which is why most people underestimate it. Small amounts invested consistently over long periods grow in ways that feel almost unrealistic. Time is the key ingredient. Without time, even high returns mean very little. This is why starting early matters more than starting big. Compounding rewards patience, not intelligence, consistency, not intensity. Interrupting compounding through unnecessary spending resets progress again and again. The longer money is left alone, the harder it works, and the more powerful it becomes. Those who understand this protect their capital fiercely, not out of fear, but out of respect for its potential. Once you truly grasp compounding, every financial decision is filtered through a longer time horizon. Money is not the most limited resource in life. Time and attention are. Every possession you own demands a portion of your attention, whether you notice it or not. Bigger homes require more maintenance, more decisions, and more coordination. More expensive lifestyles create more moving parts, more problems to solve, and more things that can go wrong. This is why highly effective people design their lives to reduce unnecessary decisions. When trivial choices are minimized, mental energy is preserved for what truly matters. Complexity feels impressive from the outside, but simplicity feels powerful from the inside. The goal is not to own less for its own sake, but to own only what supports your direction. When attention is no longer scattered, focus becomes deeper and progress becomes faster. This is how simplicity quietly compounds into clarity, effectiveness, and long-term advantage. Modern life constantly invites us to compare ourselves with others. Social media turns comparison into a daily habit, showing highlight reels instead of real lives. What we see is rarely funded by peace. It is often funded by debt. The pressure to keep up does not come from need. It comes from fear of appearing behind. Status is a moving target. There is always someone with more, newer, or louder. Trying to win the status game guarantees exhaustion because the finish line keeps moving. Those who build lasting wealth eventually opt out of the game entirely. They stop performing success and start protecting freedom. By stepping away from comparison, they regain control over their choices. The most powerful move in the status game is refusing to play. The difference between impulse and wealth is distance, the space you create between what you want now and what you want most. Most people collapse that distance instantly. They earn, they spend, they repeat, leaving no room for strategy. Those who build wealth do the opposite. They slow the moment of consumption and extend the moment of decision. That pause is where power lies, because it allows logic to replace emotion. Building the gap does not mean deprivation. It means control. The longer the gap, the more intentional every decision becomes. Over time, this space compounds into flexibility, optionality, and resilience. When expenses stay stable and income grows, the gap widens naturally. That gap becomes your margin of safety in downturns and your fuel in opportunity. Wealth is not built by speed, it is built by distance managed wisely. At some point, wealth stops being about accumulation and starts being about sufficiency. Enough is the moment where comfort is met and excess loses its appeal. Those who understand this choose stability over spectacle and peace over applause. They define their lifestyle intentionally and hold it steady as income rises. This decision creates space, space to invest, space to breathe, space to choose. Freedom does not come from owning more, it comes from needing less. When expenses remain controlled, work becomes optional instead of mandatory. This is why real wealth is quiet. It does not need to announce itself. Looking ordinary becomes a form of protection and strategic camouflage. In a world obsessed with upgrades, choosing enough is the most powerful upgrade of all.